Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. You know, I would change my tagline for 2018, but I don't think fear is ever going to go away completely. I think we're going to go to a place where we can actually just recognize it for what it was, sort of like something that, let's say old records. Nobody really uses old records anymore. We know they're there. We still collect and trade them, even though it's not really something we use. It's just sort of outdated, but it's sort of cool to have around. It reminds us of the old world. Only fear turned into something that wasn't serving us so well. It wasn't such a great hobby. It was something that turned into, well, what we allowed it to, what other humans used to control others. That's really all it is. You didn't create that on your own. Children aren't naturally fearful, right? Unless we show them something they should be afraid of. And we start to create that very early with and for them. I want to talk about some things I've been experiencing. I haven't really shared much of this. So if you've been watching my videos, all like 2,000 of them, you're going to hear some things happening along the way. So starting, I'd say about maybe 2010, I started to get what I called energy surges, and I didn't know what they were. I didn't read any stuff. I still don't really read all that much. I like to watch videos and stuff on really positive, cool subjects. Like I love science, quantum physics, and things like that. So I didn't know about any of this stuff. You could talk about any stuff. I had no clue what this was, fourth dimension and fifth dimension. So what happened is I was started to get, and you may have experienced this, it feels like electricity shooting through your body. It's not painful. It can get really intense, but it's like you get these waves of energy and it just shoots through your body, mostly when you're asleep, because that's when your mind is cleared. And this was happening quite frequently. And I'd maybe go a couple months and it'd start up again. And so I kept getting more and more of these higher frequencies. Okay, something's going on. You know, it's happening a lot while I'm talking to you. I don't know if it's because of what I'm talking about, but I actually am picking up on some different energy. So we're sharing energy right now, even though I'm filming it. By the time you're watching it, I'm doing something else. There's no such thing as time. So I'm actually experiencing you and your reaction and your energy, even though you're not watching this while I'm filming it. And even if you're watching this while I have filmed it months ago, you're still going to pick up on my energy. So I want you to remember that. Everything's tied that tightly. It really is that tight. So I was getting these energy surges, and then I kept trying to find out what this was. And I finally found this book called, the only thing I found that explained what it could possibly be, and it's called Kundalini Arising. And that didn't make sense to me either. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what Kundalini, I still don't know what that means. But I don't really need to know stuff. I just sort of wanted to understand what was happening. I knew it wasn't a physical issue. I knew it was something else happening. I was meditating a lot. So what it is, I find out later on, and this explanation makes total sense to me. The physical body cannot remain in its current state if you're going to transition to the next dimension. It has to adjust. All that DNA that we don't use, the junk DNA, no such thing. All of the things in our body, including our brain and our DNA, that have all this space that we don't use, that's not evolution. That can't be evolution. You can't have something existing and that you only use part of it. It's evolution. Evolution is that the brain will keep getting bigger, or the DNA will start to transition to something else. We already have it. So we have the capabilities first, and it's still sitting there waiting for us to catch up with it. The brain, the DNA. The DNA is made of crystal particles, beautiful, helix, beautiful, off the charts, powerful. Its presence stays in a room even when you leave. That's a fact. I think they've monitored probably forever, but so far science has demonstrated that when you are in a room and you're in a certain area, when you leave, 30 days later, that genetic, that DNA blueprint, the imprint is still in the room, in that chair, wherever you sat, wherever you were. That's a fact. They've actually monitored this. That energy is everywhere, right? Our energy is everywhere. Anything you touch, everything you say, every thought, we are connected. It's all being shared. So when you have these bizarre symptoms, you got to remember what's happening is because when the separation between us starts to go down, you'll actually connect more and more, hopefully on the higher frequency. It's going to happen for lower frequencies too. They may go to the dark depths because those walls are starting to come down. They're starting to really connect to the overall darkness. And if they don't pull out of that, it's going to get very intense. And that shift upward, it's going to get intense up here. And it already is, because what's happening is I'm actually so sensitive. I'm feeling stuff. I'm getting the most bizarre physical shifts. And it's beyond the electrical impulses. It's like this whole, I can't even explain it. This feeling that my whole body goes into this other place. I physically feel different. It's like this, just, I don't even want to say tingling or whatever. It's like, it's almost like I'm coming out of my body. And then what I'm experiencing is that I actually feel like disconnected. It's almost like, I'm looking around and I'm not really here. Now, I've shared some things that other day, that one, a quantum shift that really like still blows my mind. It takes a lot to blow my mind nowadays, but the quantum shift is a pen. My favorite pen has not been here for months. I mean, a really long time. And I thought about it and I was like, I've looked everywhere for it for a long time and I gave up. The desk that I'm at has been cleaned probably about a dozen times since it's been missing. I think about it. I have 2 laptops sitting next to each other with very little space in between, not enough for a pen to go like this. And I think about this and I'm like, what happened to my pen? Where's my pen? How could I have been missing it? Don't ask me why. I'm a writer. I like pens, right? I have a few really nice ones and they sit next to my computer. I left the room, I think it was like a couple hours. When I came back, the pen was sitting there right next to the laptop. Not like this where it rolled out someplace. As if somebody placed it there. I think that's a quantum shift. I think you're going to experience more quantum shifts. I think I shifted because I'm starting to go into another frequency. I shifted into a reality just with my thought. And somehow that reality, it could be one small thing that looks different. Just one small thing. That pen was in it. That pen never disappeared in that reality I shifted into. It never was lost in the first place. Now this could be a little mind-blowing for you, but I'm going to share something with you. You're going to experience just almost like you're going to feel very light. You could feel lightheaded and you could experience a lot of visions. Don't change the visions. Don't be careful how you interpret the visions. It's like, I had this conversation with a friend the other night. I said, it's like the death card in tarot. Freaks people out. They think it means death. It's renewal. It's not death. It's something going away, something wonderful coming in. It's just change. So be careful how you interpret things. Let the fear, put this fear aside. This whole channel is on not eliminating fear, but putting it aside. Looking at it as something that has served us well and been misused by most power people. Use fear to keep people in a place of separation. It allows them to have the power in the material world, which never is a happy place. How can it be when you're keeping people at bay from being all that they want to be, experiencing beauty? It's addictive. They just stay there. Who knows why? I'm hoping they pull out of it, but I'm not here to change anybody. I'm here to discuss with you what your options are, and you get to choose what you do with them. So all of these things I'm experiencing are really bizarre. In fact, like sometimes when I'm talking to you, I get waves of energy. And especially like if I say something, if we start to talk about certain negative things, I really feel it, and I don't like that. So it's actually getting very sensitive. You may feel that you're more sensitive to other people's energy or even thoughts, or like even if you mention something, you may tune into it. You may feel a little bad, uneasy. You're connecting to these frequencies. It's almost like the clouds are parting, and that, you know, we knew the plane was there, but then we can see the planes, and then there's tons of planes, and there's UFOs too. I mean, this is an analogy, right? That you can see things that you never saw before, and there's nothing to be afraid of. So it's just that mist, that fog is clearing, and that all of those frequencies and energies are affecting you in a much greater level. You're going to experience this. I'm going through a very major change right now. Major. And I had talked to you guys about this. I was saying in August of 2017, I said something's happening right now. We were experiencing a little bit of negativity, it was a shift. It's this shift happening. Like you just experience it. Feels different. You're eating differently, and you know, you just know something's happening, and you're experiencing it. Your personality may change a little bit. You may not connect to your friends. You know, there's all kinds of things that are going to happen to you. But right now, if you're feeling something, it's not just physical and you don't know what it is, it's the second transition. It's probably who knows how many there are. This is the next phase of transition that's happening, because 2018 is the year of total abundance. You get to choose it. So that means let that fear drop off. It's going to be there. It's okay. It's something that we look at over the past, the old record album that we're not going to play anymore. And you're going to experience instantaneous manifestations. Things are going to show up much quicker. Things that you think about, even if they're negative, will start to show up much quicker. And situations are going to be presented to you to correct some of those things very quickly. I think I shared with you that I fired off a negative comment to a friend. It wasn't about her that I said this. And I realized it was a trigger for me. And I had to take a good look at that and say, there's still some of that stuff here. I got to clear it out. I just wasn't present with the opportunity to know it was even there, because it's not a subject that was coming up. Then when the subject came up, that was the universe saying, you got to handle this. You got to clear this sludge out. So that's what's happening, right? So you may feel some negative energies. So just sit with it. Know that it's probably the collective consciousness and or things that you need to clear out and deal with. Not fight. Just say, okay, got to put this focus over here, because we're going. In fact, my whole body right now, even, I can't describe it. I wish I could describe it to you guys. This lightness, disconnect, a little bit uncomfortable, like not connecting to things, sort of pulling out of the material world a little bit, not really connecting to it. And I've been in a super awakened state before, where I'm actually back here. You're actually back here. Everything's huge. Everything's huge. The room's huge because you're filling up the room. Now, if you've done my energy meditation, that's what that meditation's meant to do. So what you do is you're pushing your energy out. You're connecting to all possibilities, all probabilities. And when you do that, you're on a higher frequency. So what you're choosing is all positive. Because you can't even connect to the lower frequencies. You can't connect to them if you're pushing your energy out, connecting to the higher consciousness. You're going to bring in some pretty cool stuff. So you push your energy out, and then you realize you're not this body, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh my God, I am the energy that's in everything. You are. You're the energy that's in everything. And that's why you're going to be more sensitive now when you realize this, oh my gosh, I am the energy that's everything. Holy cow, that means I have access to it. No, it means you are it. You are the prosperity. You are the health. You are the joy. You are the love. You are all of it. And when you want it to show up, it's not something you have to request. It's something that you desire through positive feelings, and it shows up. And if it doesn't, you have to shift into Are you wanting it and needing it because you're still hanging on to the ego and lack, feeling lack? Anything that you're stressed out about that you desire is you coming from lack. I don't have something. Lack. I want this. I don't have it. Lack. So you've got to deal with that first. Let go. Open up, and that pen's going to show up in a couple hours. You're going to shift that reality because now you're thinking on that frequency. You changed the channel. And you're going to experience some stuff. And it is really, the earth puts off a huge electromagnetic field. And by the way, it's raising, NASA is picking up on some major shifts in that. It's definitely going up. It is very different than it was just a year ago. So that's documentable. And you're a human being picking up on this as a physical entity. And because your energy is connected to everything, you're going to be aware of shifts, other people's energy, thoughts that are going on out there. And the more collective it is, the more it's going to affect you. So just stay focused on your highest frequency. And if you're experiencing this, don't react to it. Ride it out. And so if I sit in a room and for some reason some negative wave comes over me, I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It's not a nice feeling. I don't know where it came from because sometimes we're in the middle of really great conversations. You may be picking up on something else. Just be very aware of it. Don't fight anything. If fear shows up again, be aware of it. It's the sludge. Let it go. Start not reacting to things is the best advice I can give you. React to nothing. Experience it. Experience it. Start to take action. Now, you really don't have to do anything when you can manifest like that. But the whole purpose of being here is to have this really awesome journey. I think it's very important to take action. I think it's important to really live this life and have fun. And it's not about the having fun. It's not about the partying and the things and that. But I think through some of these activities and things that we can create and jobs for people or sharing, positive things with other people, like even if it's crafts or, interests or whatever, this is part of this human experience that's so different than what we've known as spirit. Pure spirit. And you'll never experience it quite this way in a human body. So really enjoy that and let the rest of it go. Experience those feelings are the spiritual energy part of you. So you're going to have some major stuff happening. And it's going to keep getting more and more intense. And the more you let go of the negativity and quit think of yourself as a human being, start knowing that you're energy and that we can use this energy in whatever way we want and make good choices, this earth, this planet's going to shift in a way that's so awesome. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to realize that we created something beautiful when people are doubting that we'll even be here in a few years. It doesn't have to be that way. It is not insurmountable. It is not something that can't be changed. It is not in stone. Everything that you're experiencing is part of your ability to use that energy. And one person, it only takes one person to do it. That's all you have to work on is you. Let other people have their journeys and just know this stuff you're experiencing, it's going to be pretty mind-boggling. Start paying attention to your lucid dreams. Start meditating as much as possible and go into the theta state and watch what you're seeing. Don't be afraid. There's no darkness that can harm you. There's no dark. Try and bring darkness into a light room. It's impossible. You can bring a candle in a dark room and light it up though, can't you? Darkness can't hurt you. It is just an experience. Everything's an experience. Even darkness, it's just an experience. It's not something we need to battle. That's that separation again. No more separation. They're just experiencing it. Okay. It's messed up, but we're done with it. And the more we stay over in their light and we just focus on that, the more we affect them and give them that feeling those waves of energy, they're going to get, maybe they feel a little bit better and they don't want to do this nasty thing or say a nasty thing. They're going to get the waves of positive energy from us because we're one and we fluctuate in that energy. So I'm going to start sharing more and more things that are happening with you that I haven't really talked about because it's so different than everything I've been feeling up to this point. It's a little mind-blowing, and people have actually noticed that something about me, and I don't know why. I don't feel like I'm acting any different, but apparently they're picking up on something. So your friends might be and family might be sensing that about you. You may be feeling that way about yourself. But just know some huge shifts are happening right now. And if you're experiencing this, get excited and just sit with it. Especially if you're like meditating or in bed and you get this wave of something, boom. Just go with it. Just go with it. It's the planet, the consciousness shifting you to start using all of the things we have in our body right now to be able to function on that higher frequency. And that's all it is. So when you're experiencing this, like I said, when I was getting all the Kundalini rising, whatever it was, I realized my body has to shift in order for me to survive physically in a fourth and fifth dimension. It has to change. It has to be less dense. And I'm feeling that. I'm feeling like I'm not as dense. I'm feeling a little disconnected. It's very exciting. It's a very cool feeling. What does that mean also? You can access ideas, inspiration, inventions. You can create positive, beautiful things for this world. Start doing it. Remember I said we're not going to say you're a miracle worker anymore. I'm going to say you're an ultimate light being. How's that? You are an ultimate light being. Miracle is the separation of that ability for somebody to do something fabulous means that that's unique. It's not anymore. You're a light being. That means you have access to everything. They're not miracles. They're things we're going to do every day. It's just to be part of our life. You're whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. It's exciting stuff, isn't it? It's exciting. I'm not alone. I know a lot of people are experiencing this. I don't even have to talk to people to know what's going on out there. Because if I'm experiencing it, I know others are too on a very, very high level. Namaste.